We have come here to learn from each other. Our masters used to say that the day you have not learned something new is a lost day indeed.
Being a devotee of Neem Karoli Baba, I've been very close to Krishna Das for many years.
Yes.
And he's such a beautiful being, and he said to me, he actually turned me on to Dada Vaswani.
The easiest thing in the world is to give advice to another. That is the easiest thing in the world. But remember, in education what happens? Every one of us gets the same question paper. If I am in 12th standard, and if you are also in 12th standard, you will get the same question paper at the time of the exam. But in life, each one of us gets a different question paper. One underlining quality of every prophet is love. And love is not love if it doesn't have compassion. Love in action is compassion.
Love in action is compassion. That's a beautiful line. Namaste, Didi.
Namaste.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for the opportunity.
We are so blessed, and I can't express to you how grateful I am and how happy I am to have you here at home. Selfishly, it's a great blessing, and I use every excuse in the book, Go Dharmic's work or any other reason, but I just really personally wanted to have some time with you and to learn from you, and for everyone that may listen to this conversation to get a little glimpse of the essence of your teachings and your message and the love of gurus that have come before and the great saints who have passed down so much. So thank you. Thank you firstly.
We have come here to learn from each other. Our masters used to say that the day you have not learned something new is a lost day indeed.
That's beautiful. Well, hopefully, definitely I'll learn something. I can guarantee that.
Both of us will learn.
Thank you, thank you. So, we're going to get straight into a wonderful conversation, and I'm really excited to ask you, firstly, about your own personal journey. Like, where did you grow up? What was growing up like for you? And, some of your early years, if you could share that.
I was very fortunate because my parents and my grandparents were followers of Sadhu Vaswani.
Wow.
So we were brought up in that atmosphere. We were raised in that atmosphere. So spirituality was naturally a way of our life.
Where was that?
In Pune.
Oh, okay.
Actually, Sadhu Vaswani started his work in Hyderabad, Sindh, which was then part of Pakistan. But after the partition, he migrated to Pune. And there he started his work.
What year was that in Pune?
In Pune, he shifted in 1951.
Wow. After partition of India.
After the partition.
Came from Hyderabad,
Yes.
Sindh so probably after
Yes.
the movement.
Yes.
And why was there any? Do you know any reason for why Pune was chosen as that location?
He had many options, but he somehow felt that I should go to Pune.
Oh wow! And you were there in Pune.
Because our Sangat, what we call it, from Hyderabad, after the partition, they were in different cities. So every city kept on pulling him that you come and set up your headquarters here. But somehow Sadhu Vaswani selected Pune.
Wow. Being a devotee of Neem Karoli Baba, I've been very close to Krishna Das for many years.
Yes.
And he's such a beautiful being, and he said to me, he actually turned me on to Dada Vaswani. I had actually watched many videos online, and I was deeply moved, but when he started to tell me about him, I watched more and more, and I just fell in love. I just really could feel that love even coming through the computer screen at me. And,
the tips of his fingers, they thrilled with love. Love flowed from his eyes, love flowed from his words. Whenever, as you said, even if you see him on the screen, you feel you're immersed in an ocean of love.
Wow. What was it like all those years being with him?
Oh, we were in bliss. Total bliss. His every, forget move, but his every thought, it just vibrated with love. You could feel those vibrations.
As you were growing up, going through education or,
I was very
ordinary
fortunate.
life?
When I was 3 years old, I came to stay with my masters. I was just 3 years old.
Okay.
So from then, I have been raised and brought up.
You stayed at the ashram?
Yes.
So you lived your whole life from the age of 3
Yes.
at the ashram?
Yes. So automatically, I studied in Sadhu Vaswani school, the St.
Okay.
Mira's school. Then I graduated from the St. Mira's college. So even our education has been in the schools which were founded by them.
Wow. And in terms of a formal education as well as the spiritual education, how did you balance that?
You didn't have to balance. It was very natural. There was no pull.
I'm reflecting
It was
on
their
that for
love
yeah.
that drew us so much that whatever we did, we didn't feel that we were missing out on something or we had to reach some deadlines. No. It was very, very, very smooth, very spontaneous.
I was just saying that I was reflecting a little bit on that because I have young children myself, a 12-year-old daughter and a 14-year-old son. A packed schedule of activities from school to sports to music and everything else. But what would your advice be to that young person today of a similar age who's just engaging in this busy world?
To a young person or to the parents?
To the young person.
To the young person who is?
Who's just coming through that early stage of their life, a lot of different learning they're going through from various subjects to school pressure to weekends, parents and families and expectations.
I think that is the role of the parents and to build the inner strength of their children. And this is ideally done before the child is 7 years of age, from the age of, actually it is prenatal.
Oh, beautiful.
Everything that the mother thinks, everything that the mother eats influences the child. We don't realize it. We all know the very classic story of Abhimanyu.
Yeah. Could you tell us it?
He heard how to enter into that chakra. But when the story, when that art was being narrated, he was called. The mother had to leave. And as a result, he knew how to enter that chakra, but he didn't know how to come out. He was not taught, but he heard that art while he was in the womb. So every child is so receptive, even right from the time the mother conceives the child. So it's a great responsibility on the mother. And then after the birth of the child, the upbringing, that is very, very, very important. As we pay emphasis, as we are so particular, we nowadays actually, even before a child is born, the parents select the school where the child is to be educated. Just as we are so particular about the school, we are so particular that following arts have to be learnt by our children, whether it is drawing, whether it is music, whether it is sports, whatever it be. Similarly, life skills are very, very, very important. Those have to be taught to the children. A child has to be taught how to be strong, how to grow in resilience. Child has to learn the power of adjustment, of adaptability, of being flexible.
And how do we teach children that?
So, as I said, that is the most important role of a parent.
Parents, yeah.
Therefore, parents, firstly, their mode of teaching should be, they should be role models themselves. Because children, they are the best imitators. They will not listen to your words. In fact, if we tell them or if we try to force them, they will even revolt. There was a kid, when he goes to buy a new shoe, small boy, maybe 5 years old, 6 years old, he goes to buy a shoe and he likes one particular shoe and he brings it home, but he tells the shopkeeper, if my parents like it, I will return the shoe. I don't want to wear the shoe which my parents like.
That's interesting. So I was talking with my wife, Sheena, and we were discussing, is it an evolved thing that children want to do the opposite?
It's not an evolved thing. That's what I said. They want to retaliate. Because all those sanskars have not been put into them at the right time. Just see, when it's a sapling, you can decide the course of its growth.
Right.
Once it becomes a tree, you can do nothing.
So what about us who are already like trees?
Around it. You can build even a
Yeah.
fence around it. That is the duty of the parents. To build a fence around, but not to be forcing them to do things.
To protect the saplings.
Yes. Protect them, support them, encourage them, and be with them. Today, what is the condition of youths? They will go to a psychiatrist and unburden themselves, but they will not speak to their parents. Why? Because they know parents will not understand them, they will judge them.
Right.
A boy, if perchance he smokes, if he'll come and tell his parents, what is our reaction? Do we try to understand? Do we try to make him understand? The first thing we'll tell him, what you're doing is not right.
Yeah. Start with the negative.
The negative. We focus on the negative. So the first thing parents need to do have to be role models themselves. Whatever you want your children to be, do it yourself.
Be the change.
They observe every slight thing.
Yeah.
How parents talk to each other, how they behave with each other.
I love that story of Gandhiji when the mother asks Gandhiji to ask her son to stop eating sugar.
Yes.
That's always stuck with me.
Yes.
And then he says, come back in 2 weeks.
After a week.
After a week. And then, yeah, that's a beautiful. Then he will say, I had to stop eating sugar first.
The easiest thing in the world is to give advice to another. That is the easiest thing in the world. And the most difficult thing is to change yourself. It's very easy to change everybody, to find fault with everybody. If you want to change yourself. There is a beautiful story about Swami Ram Tirth. He was a reformer and he puts up an advertisement in the newspaper. Wanted reformers. In big bold type, he wanted volunteers.
Wow.
And in a very small type, in the advertisement, he writes from down, who are prepared to reform themselves. And he didn't get even one answer.
Really? Nobody responded?
Nobody is prepared to reform others. If you want to start a movement to reform others, everybody will come. So the first duty of the parent is to be a role model before the child. Walk the talk. The second thing, right from childhood, take care of the child's company. This is an age-old truth. Jaisa sang, vaisa rang. Our company, it leaves a mark on us. That is, it colors us. So be careful of the company they move in. And today, earlier it was restricted to physical company, but now more than physical plays a very important role, digital.
Digital company. Yeah.
We have to be careful.
Yeah. I read a recent book by a scholar called Gabor Mat, or Mate, I don't know how you pronounce his name properly, but he says something very interesting, that previously with indigenous cultures or native communities, the parents played a much greater role with the children. And now, at a certain age, we've almost accepted that children bring themselves up with their peers. So whoever their friends are, that group becomes the child's almost parent. It takes over that responsibility. So it's a real, because previously, I think when the family got together even, the children would stay, the elders would be there, people would be together.
They were joint families.
Joint families.
Now we have moved to nuclear families. In joint families, automatically there were grandparents. Today, a small toddler, he's 9 months old. I just met one a few days back. He was glued to the mobile. You go to so many homes, what parents do, they put on the iPad and they give it to the child, and the small child is eating. In earlier days, in our days, not only in earlier days, we have gone through that. We never ate food till our parents or grandparents would sit with us and narrate to us stories.
Wow.
So those are the seeds that were sown in us. So we need to be very, and today what is our condition? Even as families, when we sit together to eat food, each one is on their phone. We don't connect with the people who are physically with us, and we are connecting with the world who's so far away from us. Just see the paradox. So take care of their company, which is very, very, very important. Earlier, even schools, we used to send them in gurukuls. So in gurukuls also, they had a strong foundation where their culture, their character was built. And it was re-emphasized at home. Today in schools, you don't get that. So the responsibility on the home is all the more on the parents. But parents don't have time. We believe what the child, we give to the child the best of comforts and conveniences. What we could not enjoy, we say our children should enjoy. Yes, that is fine. But along with that, give them that sanskar. It is that which will help them to face life. We give them education, yes. But remember, in education what happens? Every one of us gets the same question paper. If I am in 12th standard, and if you are also in 12th standard, you will get the same question paper at the time of the exam. But in life, each one of us gets a different question paper. The experience I have to go through are different from the experiences you have to go through. Therefore, we have to train them for life. We are busy training them only for livelihood.
Right.
We need to train them for life.
Yeah.
And our master, he would say, the root of education is reverence. They should be brought up in reverence.
What does that mean? What do you mean by reverence? Devotion?
They should be
love?
taught reverence. They should be taught that this entire, everything is sacred.
Awe.
Everything
Sense
is
of
sacred.
awe and reverence, yeah.
Reverence firstly for God. Today, that reverence for God is disappearing because man says, what is there that I cannot do, especially with artificial intelligence coming in. Robots coming in who are trying to replace even the human brain. But we are creating more disaster for ourselves. The first thing is reverence for God. Reverence for what is above us. Reverence for what is around us. Reverence for everything that is around us. Whether parents, whether peers, whether anyone. Reverence for everything that is around us. And reverence for what is beneath us. Beneath us, actually there's nothing beneath us, but we regard animals, we regard nature as something that is inferior to us. Triple reverence.
Above, all around,
All
and below.
around and below.
As you say that, I think of those Gita verses where Krishna's talking about how he is the beauty of the mountains, or the A in the alphabet, or all
because
things.
that same spirit, that same energy is in all. That one pervades in all. That one has trod the tracks of time and entered the fields of space, and this creation has been created. So in everything, all that is a vesture of the Lord. Ishavasyam idam sarvam. Everything that we see is a vesture of the Lord. Once we grow in that reverence, that is the root of knowledge. Children should be taught to revere every atom. Grow in reverence. Reverence is the root and service is the fruit. Once you grow in reverence, you realize that the purpose of life is service. Then you become a giver. Today, each one of us is a receiver. We want, we want, we want. Having everything, still we are not happy, we are not content.
I want to come to service.
True contentment comes when you are ready to serve.
That's beautiful.
When you become a giver. Just see in nature, everything gives. See the sun, it gives. See the tree, it gives so unconditionally. Even if we throw a stone at it, it gives us fruit in return. See the rivers, they keep flowing and they keep giving us water. Do they keep some water for themselves? Except man, everything in nature keeps giving. It's only man who says it's only me, it's only me. It's just imagine people coming up with spurious medicines just to make a little money. Just imagine man killing man. Reverence for what is above, reverence for what is around, and reverence for what is beneath us. Then we will not kill animals.
Wouldn't kill anyone.
Vasudeva Kutambakam. Creation is one family. How can I kill someone just for a few seconds of taste and make my stomach a graveyard? How can I inflict pain, suffering? But all this has to become the sanskar of the child. Then when they grow up, they will be able to stand tall.
How do you find it in the sense of there are wonderful Buddhist masters, for example. Now, we understand this idea of ahimsa and apply it to animal agriculture, or, practice veganism, vegetarianism, and so on. But even some wonderful Buddhist teachers that I greatly admire, some of them also consume animals.
Yes, they do. Somehow, actually, if you go to see all religions, they have this one message of love and compassion.
Yeah.
Any religion. But it is we who, for the sake of our convenience, our comfort, our selfishness, we keep on
Applying it differently.
applying it. No, we have our own interpretation of that message just to suit our needs.
Confirmation bias in science, they call it. So you
But
think
every prophet of humanity, one underlining quality of every prophet is love. And love is not love if it doesn't have compassion. Love in action is compassion.
love in action is compassion? That's a beautiful line. I always remember, because of our work in Go Dharmic, the story of Yudhishthir and the dog.
Yes.
At the end of the...
He refused to enter heaven. Just see.
Who could do that? For compassion to a dog.
And we keep dogs as our pets. But all other animals, we kill them and eat them. If we love animals, we should love all animals, right?
There's an interesting statistic that now the natural world, wildlife, 96% of wild mammals are now human beings and farm animals. So only 4% of all wild mammals are nature, wild. The rest is only human beings or, controlled animals on factory farms or farms. And I often think, where will we stop? Because this is only 4% now. Do we stop at 3% or 2% or 1%? Or maybe in one generation now there won't be any more wild mammals. I mean, in that situation, what message would you give to people who are working for compassion, who want to see a more compassionate world?
We have to spread that message. That is what the world needs today. Our master used to say, wars will not cease on earth until we grow in compassion. Until we grow in reverence. Automatically, if you have reverence for every unit of life, you will never hurt, you will never kill, you will never harm anyone.
I'd like to ask you a little bit more about your time with Dada, and if there is any stories that really stay. I mean, I'm sure there's so many. As you said, every moment. I mean, one thing I'll just start with is I was in a taxi in London with Krishna Das, and he was talking about Dada to me in the car as we were driving, and he said that somebody asked Dada. Said to Dada that I've done something really bad in my life, and is it going to be bad karma or something along those lines? I'm paraphrasing here. And Krishna Das was there with Dada as he was speaking, and Dada said, "That's okay, my child, I'll take it." And then as KD was in the car with me, he started crying. And he was saying, who does that? Who just takes the karma of someone out of love or compassion, just constantly serving? And he said he was one of the greatest saints that he's ever come across in his entire life. And he spent a lifetime traveling to India and being with so many great beings and so on. And he said, being with Dada was just, one of the greatest things that he'd had. Even just
greatest privilege, the greatest treasured moments we have.
So could you tell us a few for our greedy minds to hear just a little bit?
Just as you said, I was very fortunate. Dada was invited to a jail.
Where was it?
In Baroda.
Okay.
To address the prisoners. So there were hundreds of prisoners in front of Dada. And Dada gave them a very, very touching talk. And Dada said to them that no one is a sinner. The sinner of today is the saint of tomorrow. We have to condemn the sin, but not the sinner. Because the moment the sinner repents and takes a U-turn, he is no more a sinner. He is a new man. Dada gave them a very nice talk. And after the talk, Dada even met a few prisoners who came forward. And one of them said to Dada, can you meet me just privately on the side? And he said to Dada that I have done a heinous crime. I have murdered someone. And for that I have been given life imprisonment. And I am ready to bear that punishment so that I want to really offset that crime. But I don't know if just this imprisonment will offset my crime, will cut out my karma. You are a true man of God, and every day I know you speak to God. Can you please plead on my behalf to God that God, yes, it is true I have sinned, but please be merciful. And what does Dada say to him? Dada says to him, surely I will pray for you, but you don't forget to pray for me every day.
Wow.
You also pray to God. And be sure that God has forgiven you. Now live a new life, a life rooted in God, a life rooted in seeing God in the jail. Make this jail a temple.
Make the jail a temple.
And everybody had tears in their eyes. Just imagine what was his level. And he is telling the prisoner that you too pray for me. His humility, his identification with everyone, that is love.
It's beautiful, truly beautiful. Could you tell me another interesting or something to do with love?
With love. I was at the program and we were still winding up the program and Dada's car left before us. This happened in Chennai. And Dada was very fond of taking walks. He would try to take a walk every single day. That day, the schedule was so packed that he could not take a walk.
Did he used to walk in the mornings or evenings?
He would try to walk in the morning, but if sometimes the schedule didn't permit, he would also try to walk any time that he got in the day, depending upon his appointments, his talks. As he was returning from the program, he said, I've not walked the entire day. Let's take a little walk, he said to the host who was driving him. There were only 3 people in the car, the host, Dada, and one fellow brother who happened to be the secretary of our mission, Baba Gangaram. So the 3 of them were in the car. And the host said to Dada, I'm dropping you by the beach, but in Chennai, in those days, the beaches were not very illuminated. So you don't go too far. You keep on walking and I'll come and join you all. I'll just park the car and come. So Dada and Baba Gangaram, they started walking on the beach.
So it was evening time?
Night. It was
Night time.
almost 8:45, 8:30.
Oh, okay.
It was after the program.
So it's dark in India at that time.
It was dark. And he said that here there are many times people who come and loot you. They want money, whatever they have. So Dada and Baba Gangaram started walking. And they were so busy. Baba Gangaram was asking something from Dada. They were busy with each other, interacting with each other. And suddenly, out of nowhere, one man comes. And he tells them, whatever you all have, you all give me.
Really?
And Baba Gangaram actually gets a little nervous. And he tries to resist. You know, he held Baba Gangaram's hands. And he tried to resist. Dada was telling him, take it easy, just be relaxed. But Baba Gangaram was feeling that they should not do anything to Dada. Okay, so he was trying to resist. And Baba Gangaram had a watch, I think, on his hand, and they took out that watch. And then Baba Gangaram also never used to carry any money. And then they came to Dada. They said to Dada, it was one person. He said to Dada, now tell me, what do you have? And Dada, he always wore a shawl. And Dada said to him, the shawl is the only thing I have. And Dada opened the shawl and he opened his arms and he said, I have the greatest treasure which you need. That is the treasure of love. And he embraced that man. And believe me, that man's heart was transformed. He immediately fell down at Dada's feet and he said to Dada, please forgive me. And me, my wife and 2 small children, we have not eaten food for so many days. We were literally starving. And today I said to my wife, I'm going to the beach. I will loot someone, but I can't see my children starving. Whatever I get, I will buy some food and come for the children. And Dada said to him, you come with me. And by the time we reached home, in those days there were no mobile phones. We were saying, where have they gone? Where have they gone? Finally, after some time, Dada's car came and this man gets down from the car.
In the car? He came with Dada?
Dada brought him with him. And then Dada, there were many men who were standing there, including our host, because so many had come back after the program. And Dada said to them that first he will eat food with us and he will carry food for his children and wife and give him a lot of groceries which we'll buy right now so that he has enough supply. And can any of you give him employment? And he was employed and his life was changed.
It's so beautiful.
And this is a true story. Dada said to him, the treasure I have, no one has. That is the treasure of love. That I will give you.
You know, we do these food distributions, which I was telling you about earlier at Go Dharmic. And in a town not too far from here, Luton, there was somebody who came from prison. And he came out of prison. And as he came out, he was in the town center and he didn't have any money, didn't have anywhere to go. He was pretty lost. And he had a brick in his hand. And he was approaching our volunteers. So everybody got quite concerned and worried that this person might be
hitting the brick,
throwing the brick at the volunteer. Could be mentally unstable. We get a lot of different people coming up. And we asked, what are you doing with this brick? And he said, I was just about to throw it into that Ladbroke shop, which is a betting shop here in the UK, and break the window so that I could go back to prison. And we asked, why do you want to go back to prison? He said, when I left from prison, the prison guard swore at me and said, I'll see you back later. You're worthless. Like something along that line. And he felt so angered that he was going to throw this brick. So he said, it's cold here in the winter. At least I'll go back, I'll have a meal, I'll have somewhere to sleep because I've got nowhere to go here. But he said, when I saw this love all, feed all sign of the volunteers doing the food distribution, I decided not to throw the brick. And he had that meal. And I always think of this, that feeding or serving other people, the impact is so much greater than the meat. The meal itself is just one small part of it. But it's the love, isn't it?
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit about your mission now? What's your mission now?
You mean the work which our mission does, or?
Your personal mission.
I think my personal mission, I would say, is firstly, I myself am a pilgrim. So I move out to learn from everyone. And secondly, to share the treasures that we have received. To try to create a world of joy. This world is meant to be a garden of love where flowers of joy, peace, contentment bloom. But we have made this world what it is today. A place of friction, a place of wars, of violence, of hatred, of strife, of suffering. When Sadhu Vaswani was asked, why are we here? And his answer is, we are here so that we create love centers. We need to create centers of love.
Is that us?
Each one
All
of us.
All living beings are centers of love.
We all have to become centers of love.
Beautiful.
Love is what the world needs today. Each one of us has to become that center of love. Give love, live love, and be love's flowing stream. Keep on giving love, keep on giving love.
I can feel that from your aura. And just sitting in your presence, I feel that you're...
The more we give, the more we get, the more we receive. But don't give with that intention. Today, we all speak of love, but that is not true love. True love is a tough love.
What do you mean?
It is a sacrificing love. A love that is a giving love, not a receiving love.
Right.
There are 3 types of love: eros, philos, and agape. Eros is, if you love me, I will love you in return.
Transactional love.
It's a business.
Business transaction, right.
If you love me, I will love you. That is eros. Second is philos. Philos is, because you love me, I will love you. As long as you will love me, I will love you. If you'll stop loving me, I will stop loving you. And the third is agape. That is, in spite of what you do, I will continue to love you.
Unconditional love.
Unconditional.
Martin Luther King Jr. spoke a lot about agape.
Without any expectation.
Yeah.
A self-sacrificing love, a giving love, a sharing love, a tough love.
Is that God's nature?
God is love. And to be able to reach God, all we need is love. We don't need any knowledge. We don't need any rituals. We need only love.
how do you think Dada loved you and your all of the devotees who were around at that time?
How do we think? We could feel it, we could experience it. There's no question of thinking. And as you said, no, in love, you never see anybody's faults, failings, mistakes. When you love someone, example, if it is my child, even if someone speaks, your child did this, I'll try to cover up the mistake. But if it is someone else's child, I will expose it more. For Dada, everyone, he loved everyone. Therefore, he never saw fault in anyone. I remember one couple, and the wife came and said to Dada that my husband, he drinks a lot.
Okay.
And I want you to please explain to him. And Dada said, okay.
The wife said, my husband drinks a lot. Okay.
And Dada said, okay, I will see. You keep on praying and you keep on sending him positive vibrations. And one day, when the husband, Dada used to go for walk, so one day the husband also accompanied Dada for walk. And the topic somehow came out, and Dada told him, next time when you feel the urge to drink, you bring the bottle and we both will drink together. That man heard that and he said, Dada is prepared to even drink because of me. He immediately gave up drinking from that day.
Wow. Unconditional love, that is. What was Dada's schedule like?
His schedule, he would get up very, very early in the morning. He hardly slept. He would spend his time in prayer, in devotion, in silence. Then he would get ready, do his daily chores. Then after that have breakfast. And then he would do the work, whatever he had to finish. Then around 11:30 he would go out for a walk. And as he returned from walk, we have hospitals in Pune. So usually he would visit some hospital, some institution. We have so many institutions in Pune. Then come back home for lunch. Then evening we had the prayer meeting. And after that, there were people who would always want to meet Dada.
Have satsang and so on.
Satsang every day.
Every day satsang?
Every day.
What time was that?
7:45 to 8. Every day.
Okay. And then he would meet people afterwards?
Then he would meet people.
And then what time would he sleep?
Oh, late sleeper.
Would he stay talking with people and
yes,
discuss?
sometimes. And he traveled a lot.
And what about your schedule now? I can see that you've been very busy while you've been traveling here.
It depends. When we are traveling, then naturally. Even I try to take a walk every day. So I try to squeeze that time. And then whatever other engagements.
Do you follow a similar routine when you're in Pune?
Yes. In Pune, definitely.
At a time of so much strife, like, you know, especially in India, I've seen so many people are suffering in pain from this awful terrorist attack that took place. And I feel like Maharaji, Neem Karoli Baba and Dada and all of the great saints, they're just such embodiments of pure love. Sab ek, they would say. Everyone, any tradition or any people of the world, they just see that love in them. And then you have this hatred which exists in the world, which feels like a Rakshasa type activity, which is so harmful to that human family, to that oneness that we we believe. What is your message for people who are in pain from that wave, that, this small, albeit one or two or three people acting in a certain way, has sent a wave of pain across a billion
fear.
people?
Nobody feels safe.
How should they
And
respond?
so many families have been shattered.
Particularly
Yes,
that
we should
image
pray.
of that wife over the...
I think prayer, all the more, we should pray for peace, we should pray for understanding. That is most important. Our master would always say, how can there be peace on earth when the hearts of men are volcanoes? Therefore, if we want peace on earth, each one has to begin with ourselves. We have to be peaceful within. Then we will be peaceful without. When we are filled with peace, we will never like to inflict harm or hurt on anyone. This war is going on within each one of us, between Ram and Ravan.
There's some words of Ram Dass that I have imprinted on my soul, really. He said, I want my life to be an embodiment of love and compassion. Where it's not, that's where my work lies. And in fact, when he was at the time where I think it was George Bush had initiated the war in Iraq, he, in his temple room, he had various saints, images and gods and so on that he would pray to. He placed a picture of George Bush next to that just so that he could send him some love and
Vibrations.
vibration.
Yes. Each one of us should send out those vibrations of peace, love, compassion. Hatred ceaseth not by hatred. Hatred ceaseth by love. Love is the greatest conqueror.
That's beautiful.
It's very easy to curse the darkness.
Yeah.
But what happens with that? The darkness becomes deeper. We need to kindle the light of love. Send out love, send out peace, send out goodwill.
There's enough people working on the other stuff, isn't there? And I think what you said rightly early is that schools, general schools, they won't teach about love. They might teach about science or mathematics or English literature, but love and compassion,
Yes.
and kindness and friendship, I think it's not something we talk about even. It's not even a discussion point.
In schools. But you will see the natural instinct of a child is to share. Every child. It's only when we grow up that we become greedy. We want everything for ourselves.
Yeah. I think the world wears on us when we are just in that material
Yes.
existence, and slowly the experiences keep building up and we find that. But when we keep going back to that love
Yes.
and being in satsang, like even being here,
Therefore,
being
the importance of company.
company.
Everyday satsang, every day being in that state of love, sitting in silence, contacting that source of love, recharging ourselves every day.
How do you recharge
Because
yourself?
we also get depleted, right? On a daily basis,
Right.
we too get depleted. We need to charge ourselves by connecting to our true self, our real self.
And what is that practice for you?
Silence.
Sitting in silence.
Sitting in silence, or satsang, fellowship, reading from the holy scriptures, whatever appeals to us.
As you were speaking earlier, I thought of the Taittiriya Upanishad came in my mind. Svadhyaya and Pravachanecha. It felt like for me that you want to take in, and then you share out. You take in and you share out. Is that something that
Your cup has to be filled first before you can give someone else. You can't give water from an empty cup.
That's very humble of you to say so, because I feel you're just constantly giving. So you sit in silence? How?
Silence. I think 3 things we all should include in our program every day. First, silence. Second, we should keep on reminding ourselves, I am not the body. I am not the mind. I am that. I am that energy. I am the soul. I am that power. Once we realize that I am not this body, I am not this mind, then the way we work, the way we move will be different. Now we do everything from the point of view of body consciousness. Then every experience, I will not try to resist, because I know that every experience comes to make me grow, to make me better, to make me evolve, to take me onward on the journey. Then I will greet every experience. I will accept, not resist. And thirdly, remember, service is the rent which we pay for inhabiting this human body. We are here. Why are we here? To help as many as we can, to lift the loads of as many as we can. Therefore, let us serve as many as we can, on as many occasions as we can, and for long as we can.
As you said those words, I thought of Hanumanji, where he says, I will rest once Ram's work is done. And that work isn't done.
Never. Hanuman is Chiranjeev. He is an immortal soul. He's wherever now even they take the name of Ram with love and devotion, Hanuman is surely to be present. That is his promise. Because for Hanuman, it's only Ram. You know that story, right? That after when Sita and Ram were coronated, and Sita, she says to Ram that Sugriv got his kingdom back. What was Ravan's brother's name? Vibhishan. He got the kingdom of Lanka. But what about Hanuman? If Hanuman was not there, who would ever find me? And she had a most priceless necklace. It was called Nava Lakhahar. And she takes it out and she gives it to Hanuman and she says, this is for you. And what does Hanuman do? He takes that necklace and he takes out those pearls and he starts breaking them. And Sita thinks that poor thing, he's after all a Vanar, maybe he doesn't know the value. She says, do you know what you're doing? This har is so valuable, this necklace is so valuable. And what does Hanuman say? I'm seeing if inside the pearl there is the name of Rama. If it's not there, for me it has no value. Hanuman stands only for Ram.
It's one of my favorite stories.
Oh,
I also always have this vision that Ram is constantly trying to lift up Hanuman. And he says, Dehi, Dehi, save me from my own ego or from the mind. And he's down in that position of one knee. That he always
actually,
wants
there
to
is
be in
that story
service.
that Ram, after the war, he says that we all should, sing the praises of Hanuman. Hail Hanuman, hail Hanuman. And all of them, all the Vanars and everyone, they start singing Hanuman's praises. And Hanuman starts crying. Because Ram said to him that you were the one who, because of you, all this was possible. You were the hero of the war. And what does Hanuman say? He says, Master, because he starts crying. So all of them tell him, why are you crying? He says, we all killed Ravan. That was so easy. But I don't want this ego to get into
Wow.
me. Otherwise, who will kill the Ravan of the ego that will enter into me? So please don't praise me. I am but a servant of Ram.
So beautiful. Could you share a prayer with us? Just for everybody who connects to this via online, even if it's a few people who listen, could you just share something from the heart to anybody who connects?
O Lord, fill me with love for Thee. Make me truly Thine, make me truly divine, and make me Thy worthy instrument, so that the love that I receive from You, I may share it with everyone who comes into contact with me.
Thank you so much. It's been truly moving to be with you and to listen to you and learn from you, and more than anything, beyond the words, just the presence. It's been truly moving, and I'm so grateful that you can be here to bless this space. Truly am. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity.